Hello, Long Island, and welcome to another edition of GLI Sports Guys. Jamie Stuart, Andrew Rappaport joining you with everything local. We'll talk some basketball, we'll talk some college football, we'll talk some local lacrosse, mix in some pro baseball. We got a lot of stuff for you, so let's get right into it, Rapp. You alluded to the historic night in Brooklyn. Tell the folks at home.
Jimmy, it was an amazing night this week. VJ Edgecomb, who played 2 years at Long Island Lutheran, was picked third overall. Now listen, he's not a Long Islander, he's from the Bahamas, but he played high school basketball here, right? So, of course, he's part of the Long Island basketball community. Third overall, no player in Long Island history had ever been picked that high. We know the other two players who've been picked in the top 10, right? We got Wally Zerbiak, who was picked 6th overall, and Tom Gugliotta, who played at Walt Whitman, was also picked 6th overall, but no one has ever been picked this high. So truly a historic night for Long Island basketball.
Yeah, played Baylor hoops and now goes to the city of brotherly love, so Knick fans already don't like him. But all you got to do is, this guy, coached by the great John Buck at LuHi, and all you got to do is look at like some of YouTube highlights. Like, his athleticism is just off the charts, and this guy is just not even scratch the surface of what he's going to be, but I think he could be a really effective NBA player.
Yeah, you can call him freakish, I guess, for the type of athleticism that he has. He's just got such big, huge wingspan, right? And that's this for anybody who doesn't know what wingspan is.
Your arms are cut off.
Yeah, I know.
If you turn yourself, yeah.
He's just got such athleticism. When he played at LuHi, he was so fun to watch. Again, only 2 years along on Lutheran, but he won Gatorade Player of the Year twice. He led LuHi to the number 2 ranking in the country. Those are some impressive numbers. And they weren't doing it against any competition. They were playing the best of the best. So when he came here, there were high expectations for him, and he delivered big time.
15 points, about 6 boards a game for Baylor, shot around 43% from the field. Obviously, it'd be a learning curve, but in this age of the NBA where nobody plays defense, I think this guy is going to go flying through the lane, and we're going to see him nick Sixers so many times this year, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Kind of similar to Tobias Harris, who we both covered in high school, and he's had quite the NBA career. He was that freakish type athlete too, right? On the offensive end, on the defensive end, he ran the break so well in high school. They came up just short of winning a state title. But yeah, he's just one of those special athletes from Long Island Lutheran, and Philly is getting quite the player.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I remember watching at Tobias. Obviously different players, but we wish VJ the best. And by the way, the V stands for Valdez, in case anybody ever wants to know. You're welcome. He'll probably never be called that, but there you go. So from hoops, let's turn to football a little bit, Rapp, because we've got a very special guest coming up, and a guy from Long Island who one day, like Edgecomb, he hopes to be in the pros as well.
Yeah, his name is Preston Carey. He played 2 years at St. Anthony's before he transferred to IMG Academy down in Florida, kind of like a factory for football players. He was great here. He went down there, but he did big things here. He's a big guy, speaking of the word big, and now big things are expected of him. He's going to go to an elite college. He hasn't announced a decision yet. That comes next week, but he's going to go to an elite school, and he is one of the best players to ever come off Long Island. All right, and here he is. Preston joins us now from the road. That's how busy this guy is, traveling to one of his 1,000 stops. Preston, thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Preston, how you've been working so hard to get to this point where you can basically have a list of who's who of college greats for you to pick. How crazy has this time and this decision period been for you?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's been a blessing. I always try to harp on that. Obviously it takes a lot of hard work, ambition, and drive as well. There's a lot of kids with my size and stuff like that. You hear stories, but you got to want it as well. And I think, I've wanted this since I was little, and this is just part of the puzzle. There's still a lot of work to do, but it's definitely all coming together. So it's a blessing to get recruited and recognized by these universities.
You mentioned your size, by the way. What is your size right now, height and weight?
I'm like 6'6", 295 pounds.
When did you realize, Preston, that these type of colleges, because obviously there's some pretty good colleges on your list, when
Yes,
did
sir.
you realize that these type of colleges were attainable?
I realized that they were attainable. I mean, like I said, I'm huge on manifestation. You know, obviously nothing comes without hard work. You can't just sit in your room and say, yeah, I want to be something all day and expect it to come. So, but I did speak it into existence and believed it and envisioned it and put the work behind it.
You obviously drew attention playing on Long Island. Then you went to Florida to further your the career. But when you were playing ball on Long Island, how did that help prepare you for this moment?
It wasn't just about football. It was about developing as a man too, because you know how you do one thing is how you do everything, and you know I had to learn to do everything correctly to be elite on the field as well. So definitely a lot of people helped me along the way, but it was great. You know, I'm biased. I think that you know I would encourage everyone in the entire state of New York to go to St. Anthony's. I think it's has the best athletics overall, not just football, best academics. You get a good balance of a social life, meet good people, good friends. I have friends that I still talk to when I come back to Long Island that either still go there or graduated. And yeah, I just thought that was a great place for me to build my foundation. You know, elite football players have came out of there before, and yeah, I have nothing but great things to say. You know, playing 2 years in the Catholic League, especially starting on varsity for 2 years, and you know, winning the state championship my freshman year, helping them do that, and then just like I said, playing two years of good football and growing as a man, like all that really helped build you know, a really good foundation for what I'm doing now.
All right, so June 30th, I believe, commitment day. Is that still official?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Monday night.
And GLI will be there, so
Awesome.
we will have it for you. Listen, and I know this is just step one, right? You probably envision yourself playing on Sundays in a few years, right?
That's the goal. I mean, there's an unimaginable amount of work to do, but that is definitely the goal.
Well, you're getting closer and closer, and all Long Island is rooting for you. We'll be anxiously watching June 30th to see where you're bringing your talents to. Preston, thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
I really believe, Jamie, if he stays on his current trajectory, he will be in the NFL one day, and I think that's awesome for Long Island football. All right, from former St. Anthony's star to current St. Anthony's stars, have you noticed what the Lady Lacrosse Friars did recently?
Yeah, they never lose.
They never lose. They haven't lost in 2 years. They just finished the season as the number one ranked team in the country again. To me, mind-boggling. And it's not like they've beaten nobody. They've beaten state champions from New York. They've beaten state champions from New Jersey. They've beat state champions from Connecticut. So this run that they're on is so impressive. And even better, next year, they bring back 19 players who have already committed to D1 and D2 colleges. So I don't think they're going to lose anytime soon.
And we have a great article you wrote that's on greaterlongisland.com. So all you lacrosse fans, go check it out. Got some pictures, got some quotes. Like you said, the future, the past, the present, it's all very bright for St. Anthony's.
It surely is.
All right, Rapp, we're going to wrap up the show with a couple of hot topics in baseball. Now, a few days ago, Diamondback second baseman Ketel Marte was brought to tears when a fan was getting on him about his deceased mother. The mother passed away in a car accident like 8 years ago, but the Diamondbacks then had that fan ejected, and then the fan has been suspended indefinitely from every major league ballpark. Now, I think we both have hearts, so at the moment I would think you'd say, great job, MLB, correct?
Great job, MLB. Great job, MLB. Get him out of there. Listen, I have no problem with fans and heckling players. You know, it's your right. You pay money for a ticket. You can say what you want. You can boo. You can get on people. But there are certain lines you don't cross. And why you would ever make fun of somebody's dead mother, get out of there. You don't belong in a baseball game.
So here's what I say. I agree with you on that. That guy's a dirtbag. Forget him. But we've both been to a zillion sporting events. Yep. I have heard the most ridiculous, vile things yelled at from fans. Because this guy yelled at the player's mom, should he be suspended from every major league park? I mean, I was at the Mets game when John Rocker back in the day returned from the Braves. They threw batteries at him, fans. We're going to suspend this guy because he made him cry?
In my opinion, he crossed a line. He crossed the line that you just don't cross. There are certain things that you don't need to say. You saw the way the manager went crazy and turned around and yelled at the fan too. And absolutely right. You know what? You can say what you want, but there are certain
you can't
things,
say what you want.
There are certain things you can say what you want to a player, but there are certain things you shouldn't say. That's probably a better word.
Oh, he absolutely shouldn't say it. He's a loser. I totally agree. But
no problem with them banning him from baseball games.
But if the mother was alive and he just said bad things about the mom,
I don't know. We can get into the what if should they do. I don't know.
A little extreme. I don't know.
I have no problem with them giving this guy the harshest penalty possible for being
a jerk.
A jerk.
Every baseball fan's a jerk.
Nope, not this.
Fine, whatever. All right, tell me what you want to tell me about Clark Schmidt.
I also think fans were outraged last week when Aaron Boone pulled him in the middle of a no-hitter, right? He pitched 7 innings, but he was over 100 pitches. And you go on social media and you see all the fans going, oh, they took him out, fire Boone, Boone stinks, Boone's no good, he should be the manager, Boone ruined history. You know what? Every fan that thinks that, you're wrong. I think Aaron Boone did the absolute right thing. This is a guy who has had injury history in the past. He is coming back. He's pitching as well as ever. Pitchers don't pitch 130 pitches anymore. At 103, 104 pitches, whatever it was, that's enough. You know what? A no-hitter is nice, but Aaron Boone did the absolute right thing by getting him out. And anybody who doesn't believe that Aaron Boone did the right thing for the team, for the Yankees, and for the goal of winning a World Series, you don't know baseball as well as you think you do.
I agree with you, although I think the fact is that fans have been so upset with Boone about his analytics, about so many different things, that any little thing they just throw against him. And they're like, hey, you got to be kidding me. You go by the book, he's out. But yeah, you're right, 103 pitches in 7 innings. I mean, he's not going to make it.
No, I mean, that is ridiculous to think that he should have pitched. And to prove that maybe his arm was even a little more tired than normal, his start this week got pushed back an extra day, even with the day off. They gave him another day. They flipped up him and Will Warren so he can rest up because of how many pitches he threw. If you remember last year, the guy was only pitching 5 innings. He's been better this year, but he went 7 innings, no-hit innings, taxing innings, and they pulled him. Right decision. Fans are wrong for going crazy on Boone. End of story.
Yeah, I agree. It does show you, though, how baseball has changed over the last 20, 30 years, though, and that type of thing.
That's a topic for a different day.
Sure. We have many days to talk about it.
That's true.
All right. For Andrew Rappaport, I'm Jamie Stuart. I want to thank Preston Carey for joining us. Good luck, Preston. This has been GLI Sports Guys. See you guys again soon.